Well, hello, and welcome. I want to welcome you all to this incredible series that I have been led to do. The next couple of days, we will get a chance to spend some intimate time together. I will be sharing with you this series that I have put together to help you go from idea to income. I believe that this is going to be a guide, an incredible guide for corporate women who are looking to launch the right business. Now, if that is you, I want you to know that you are absolutely, positively in the right place. And we're going to be spending the next few days together unpacking this guide to helping you launch the right business. I am so excited to be here back at the mic, and I want you to know that I've been incredibly intentional about this series. I want you to know that I am here to deliver what I believe is going to be some impactful insights and some incredible wisdom that's going to help you get to your next level. And so this isn't about fluff. This really is about being strategic about your next level and answering some of the powerful questions that may be standing in the way of you truly launching the business that you feel you've been called to do. Now, this series is going to go over 3 days, and today is the first day. This 3 day series really has been created because I have found that far too many high achieving corporate women are sitting on powerful business ideas. Let me say that again. I have found that far too many high achieving corporate women are sitting on powerful business ideas. And mainly because they're struggling trying to figure out what to build and how to start. And I wanted to introduce this series so that you can get some clarity and begin taking some action. Now, what I want you to know that this is not about jumping ship. That is not what I subscribe to. I'm far more strategic than saying you should jump. But it is about launching the right business with clarity, purpose, and strategy. And I wanted to offer this guide through this live stream experience to speak directly to where you are and help you move forward with confidence. And so here's a quick little preview of the 3 days. On day one, which is today, we are going to talk about why you feel stuck. And on day two, we're going to talk about what business to start. And on day three, we're going to talk about how to move forward with strategy. Now, I hope that you can make time out to be a part of this experience each of the days that we'll be going live. But if you can't, I want to invite you to go to www.jointhelivestream.live. And when you go there, you will be able to register. Not only will you get my free gift of a clarity checklist, but you will also get access to the replays so that you will be able to check them out in case you dip in and out during the course of the 3 days. So I don't want you to miss anything. And you can get access by going to www.jointhelivestream.live. And then I will message you. I'll send you all the links and everything that you need to know. In addition to that, you will also get a bonus clarity checklist that I've put together to really help you understand what it takes to launch your business with confidence. So let's get into day number one. So day number one of this journey, this 3 day journey that we are on, is really focused on answering the question, why smart, successful women stay stuck. And not just why they stay stuck, but how to get unstuck. That's exactly what we want to do. And in today's conversation, I am going to be naming the invisible barriers and reframing what stuck actually means for high achieving corporate women. And so I won't keep you long today, but I do want to invite you to grab a pencil and pen. Anytime I come to the mic, I am always dropping gems, and I would love for you to collect a few so that they can help you in your journey. So let's get into it a little bit. Now, I am all about going from corporate to entrepreneur. And I believe that if your resume says executive, but your calling says entrepreneur, then you are in the right place. I help ambitious women make that journey from corporate to entrepreneur, but I also help them with great intention. We focus on clarity, confidence, in a winning strategy that rivals those you have led in the boardroom. So I've been spending a great deal of time understanding this journey. And it's not just about launching a business, although that is a big part of it. A big part of this experience is becoming who you are called to be. For high achieving corporate women, this shift is really about going from success to significance, from comfort to clarity, and ultimately from being a high profile employee to a CEO. And I'm Denise Taylor. I have gone from corporate executive and I am now a business strategist and coach. I lead high achieving women out of corporate comfort into what I call a purpose bit driven, profitable business. And I help you take that journey with all of the clarity, courage, and confidence that will ensure your success. Now, whether I am guiding a bold pivot or sharpening a business offer or helping someone rediscover their calling, I always bring a mix of strategy, a mix of spirit and substance that turns any potential into what I call power plays. I am the founder of Corporate to Entrepreneur, and I have a proven strategy for making impact and income and a heart that rivals settling, and it refuses to allow you to settle for surface level success. So that's a little bit about me, and that's a little bit about what I champion. So let's talk about why smart, successful women stay stuck. I like to call this the elephant in the room. Why smart, successful women stay stuck. It's the elephant in the room because that phrase is usually used to describe something that is obvious, but not always reckoned with. And so we stay stuck because we tell ourselves that we should be grateful. We have accumulated a lot of success. We have achieved a lot of accomplishments. We live a lifestyle that many aspire to live. And so we lean into we should really be grateful for what we have and what we have been able to accomplish. But there is this nagging perspective that starts to come up. And in that perspective, we say we don't know if we want it anymore. We don't know if we want it anymore. We find that our job is fine, so nothing is broken. Nothing is overwhelmingly wrong with where we are. So, this idea of being stuck doesn't always mean it looks dramatic. It doesn't look like things are falling apart. It doesn't look like things aren't being done successfully. Sometimes it looks like we are stable. Sometimes it looks like we are comfortable. There's this quiet discontent that starts to rise up in us that makes us feel stuck, even though for everyone else, it looks like we are quite successful. I believe that this whole notion of being grateful does not mean you have to stop your pursuit of success, stop your pursuit of significance. And even though you have achieved, it is absolutely okay for you to want something new, want something different, and not find yourself caught in the crosshairs in between. Many of us start to believe we are in a funk. I know that's what I started to say to myself. This stuckness isn't because something is broken. It's because I am no longer aligned with the success that I am able to drive. And so we start to get in our head. We start to think something is wrong with us because surely we should feel good about what we're doing. We should feel good about the access that we have, about the recognition that we have, about the income that we have, about the ways that we are performing. But this is when we start to see ourselves just go through the motions and start operating. We start to just get in our head. We start to force ourselves to settle. And that is what begins to feel like this undercover stuck that is an inside disconnect with what we are currently doing. Sometimes it's described as this chronic boredness. Sometimes we describe it as the thrill being gone with what we're doing. Sometimes we feel like we're functioning, but we may be burned out. Where I will tell you that burnout can also be a feeling of misalignment. And we often call burnout something that really is just means we're no longer aligned with what we're doing. We're no longer getting fulfillment from it. We're no longer experiencing satisfaction. And so we get stuck there and we stay stuck there because we don't want to challenge the status quo. We don't want to challenge what we've been able to accomplish and achieve. And we start noodling in our head that nothing is broken. So why should I change? Or I should be grateful for where I am. And this is one of the reasons why we stop making the forward movement towards what it is we're called to do, because we only have been conditioned to pivot when something appears to be broken or wrong. But in this case, when you're making this intentional decision to rise and to move forward in significance, you're not doing it because things are unstable. You're doing it because that is what you're called or led to do. There's something within you that is telling you there's more. There's more to do. There's more impact to make. There's more difference to achieve. And where I am is no longer setting me up to be able to accomplish things in that way. And so we stay stuck when we don't take the initiative to take action and pivot. So, the real reasons, let's get into the real reasons why we find ourselves in this position. The honest answer is that we have been trained to succeed by somebody else's rules. And that worked well for us for a very long time. And we were able to learn the rules of the game. We were able to understand how to navigate to great levels of success. But now we are finding they don't fit us anymore. Those rules by which we used to play no longer fit where we are, no longer fit what we desire, no longer fit what we want. Another reason why we find ourselves in this position is we are experiencing success, but we're out of alignment. So it's not a matter of you being incapable. That's not the issue. It's not even a matter of you being indecisive. We have been trained, we have been conditioned to go for success in a certain way, but now that way has lost its fulfillment factor for us. And now we feel out of alignment with what it is we have been doing for so very long. The high cost of being visible but unfulfilled is you're seen and you're praised, but unseen in your purpose. And so when I am helping incredible women make that journey from corporate to entrepreneur, we lean into purpose. There are three things that happens when we tap into purpose. The first is we will find ourselves being healthy, we will find ourselves being helpful, and we will find ourselves being healthy, helpful, and happy. Those three things will happen when we lean into purpose. The converse of that is very true as well. And this is what starts the disconnect. This is what starts the discontent, is when we find ourselves starting to be unfulfilled. We find that our habits go awry and we find ourselves unhealthy, even though we're performing well. We find ourselves unhappy, even though we're showing up and driving successful results. And we find ourselves unhelpful because we're lacking satisfaction. The cost of remaining in a place that no longer fits you is you will continue to be praised, but deep within, it will not fit who you are. So let's talk about some of the systems that taught us to suppress our desires. The corporate cultures reward productivity, but they silence purpose. There's not one review, there's not one status meeting that is talking about what you've been called to do, what resonates with you, what's fulfilling for you. A lot of the conversations that are rightfully happening in those environments and in those communities are how do you drive results? And the results that you drive are what gets rewarded. And you have operated at that system for a very long time, and you know how to flip the trigger and make results happen. The second thing that can drive us to that is family expectations that equate stability with success. We equate everything's going well, all things are covered, there's all things that are going in the right direction. We equate that stability with success. And so the expectation that you would do anything that would seemingly put that at risk feels like it is outside of what we should be doing. Now, I am very strategic. I believe in strategy. And so I do believe that there's a plan to mitigate risk. What I am talking about here is we think that anything that could potentially jeopardize stability means it's unsuccessful. And in order for us to show up and really forge new paths, we have to be willing to take some risk. We have to be willing to bet on ourselves. We have to be willing to do that with great strategy and intelligence. So that's the second system. The first was corporate cultures. The second was family expectations. The third system that has really taught us to suppress our desires is education systems that praise compliance over creativity. So within our education system, we are praised when we comply with what's been asked of us. We are praised when we color inside the lines. We are praised when we write in a certain way. And the creativity element is suppressed as a result of that because we are leaning into compliance over the creative or innovative nature that is within us. The fourth and final way of a system that has taught us to suppress our deeper desire is social messaging that tells women, especially Black women, to keep our heads down, to work twice as hard, and not make waves. And that mentality really keeps us bound to suppressing what it is we want to do. So those systems, all four of those systems coming at us, especially when we've reached a certain level of success, makes us believe that if we deviate from that, we are stepping outside of the bounds of what is success. But in this journey, in the corporate to entrepreneur journey, especially for high achieving women who have achieved a great manner of success, it really is about stepping into your next. It's about the evolution of you. And what I want you to know, that when you feel that disconnect happening within you, when you feel that misalignment, it is not the result of failure. You have not failed at anything. You have simply outgrown the path that once fits you. You have simply outgrown the path that once fit you. So here's the root issue. You've mastered success on someone else's terms, be it your corporate experience, be it your family expectations, be it the educational upbringing you had, or be it the social messaging you may have received. You've mastered that success on someone else's terms. But you never defined success for yourself because you were always pursuing it based on what was presented to you. And now you have reached a level of success where you can be empowered to make a choice of your own. You can be empowered to make a decision about what fits you and what's better aligned for you. And you have to begin to stretch yourself to do so. You can define success for yourself. Now, here's the key thing. Here's the key thing. You have to be willing to be honest about where you are. You have to be willing to be honest about where you are. And the truth of the matter is, when you find yourself in the position that you begin to feel stretched and pulled in a direction that may not align with all of those systems that have conditioned you, you find yourself at what I call a crossroads. And in this particular instance, the crossroads is truly the intersection of your excellence, the intersection of what you're great at doing in alignment within yourself. It's a very interesting intersection because oftentimes we don't take swift action unless something is broken, and nothing's broken here. You are operating at the top of your game. You are performing and driving results, but the alignment with who you are is where the disconnect or the crossroads is starting to happen. And so I want to just say to you this: you're not stuck. You're being called forward. Let me say that again. You're not stuck. You're being called forward. You are excellent at what you do, but it no longer feels aligned. You're not broken. You're being invited into expansion. Now, this tension that you're feeling is because something deeper is calling you, but you don't know what it looks like yet. And all throughout your career, all throughout your schooling, all throughout your experience, you have been able to see what that next marker looks like clearly, what that next wrong looks like clearly, what that next achievement looks like clearly. But in this instance, because it's coming from within you, that you are being called to make impact, you are being called to build legacy. You are being called to evolve. You are being called to go deeper, go broader, go wider, go for it. You don't know how that looks like yet. And so you're resorting to just settling where you are. I want you to know that there is absolutely purpose beyond your performance. There is power, absolute power, in honoring the pull, the nudge that you are feeling. So I will tell you, for me, when I got to this point in my journey a few years ago, it's when I was up for probably one of the biggest roles in my career. I had navigated male dominated spaces. I had been able to achieve titles. I had boardroom access. I had C-suite presence, lots of recognition, strong compensation package, all of those things. And one of the things that I really wanted, I thought I wanted, was that C-suite title. And so when I was up interviewing for a COO position is when I began to feel this pull. I began to desire it because that's what had been mapped out for me. But as I interviewed and closed in on being one of the final candidates and had a chance to show up at that store and do a walkthrough with the CEO, I walked out those doors and knew in that moment that I wanted the title, but I didn't have a love for the work. I no longer was driven by the productivity in the way that that performance had been there for me before. I could sense deep within myself that I was being called to transcend success and be significant. And that was so incredibly important. What was even more important in that moment was to really recognize the tension, to really choose to move with intention, and to begin to honor what I felt like I was being called to do. And so now I sit and I'm walking boldly and I'm empowered to help other women begin to make that choice for themselves, to begin to move forward in the ways that God has called them, the thing that they've been called to evolve and do, the impact that they've been called to make, and the income that they have been called to make as well. I had everything that looked right. Still, I felt something was missing. And I think a lot of you, especially if you are in the space where you know you are being nudged or called to expand and to evolve into entrepreneurship as a decision, not as an escape plan, you sense that something is missing, something tied to purpose, because you're missing those three things: helpful, healthy, and happy. The thrill is gone with your day today. And so you have to take the reins to turn that feeling, that moment, into something that can propel you forward by your own choice, with strategy and with support. So I hope that as you are reckoning with your crossroads, this intersection of you being excellent and you seeking alignment with what you've been called to do, my hope is that you will indeed begin with honesty. That's probably one of the things that I had to reckon with the most. It wasn't about what was happening on the outside that made a difference. It was about what was happening within. And so, one of the things that I really want to challenge you as we're going through this live stream experience is that you will really begin to ask yourself questions like this: where are you misaligned? Maybe you're leading a team, but you're dreading Mondays. Maybe your values have shifted, but your work hasn't. Where are you misaligned? Answering questions like that helps you to be honest about where you are so that you can take all of your strength, talent, ability, smarts, wisdom, and everything that's gotten you to the level where you now reside to move forward to something that is more aligned with you. So, where are you misaligned? The second question we have to ask ourselves is, what are you tolerating? That's a very powerful question, because fulfillment, the nemesis of fulfillment, the opposite of fulfillment, the thing that fulfillment is not, is toleration. And so when you find yourself just tolerating, it drains you. There is nothing that will drain you faster than showing up for an experience that no longer fits who you are. And so you find yourself going through the day tolerating the experience. And so you have to ask yourself, is the role draining you? Is the pace exhausting you? Is the title impressive to others, but no longer excites you. And that's kind of what happened to me. We always want to flex. We always want to show up. And so I was like, oh my God, just wait till everyone sees that I have achieved this COO title. But I found I wanted the title more than the experience that drives success from that seat. And so you have to ask yourself the question, what are you tolerating? And the third point is this: what vision keeps showing up for you? This experience is about taking ideas to income, about launching a business, about stepping into entrepreneurship. So, what vision keeps coming up for you? And what I find is it's relentless, like it will not let you go. So maybe it's a consulting business idea that you keep brushing off. It keeps coming up, but you keep brushing it off. Or maybe it's just the idea or dream of owning your own time and not trading it. I know for me, that was a big one, a real big one. I wanted to own my own time. I wanted to say what I was doing when. And on top of that, I wanted to be able to work from anywhere. So, what vision keeps showing up for you? Sometimes the clarity that we're looking for is already inside us. It just needs space to speak. And so, as you're considering these perspectives and being truly honest with yourself, you have to allow space for clarity to speak. And so I want you to take some time with that and really see where you are misaligned. See what you are tolerating. See what vision keeps coming up for you. But the key thing is, after you are honest, you have to take action. And the action that you take, it has to prioritize you and what you've been called to do. You have to be honest. You have to take action that prioritize you and what you've been called to do. So let's just summarize today. Our main question in this journey for today was to really answer, why do smart, successful women stay stuck? And here's what I have to say. Is smart, successful women stay stuck because they're lost? Oh, they're not lost. Let me get my thoughts together. Smart, successful women stay stuck because they're lost, but because they've outgrown the life they've built. Let me say that again. I want to be really clear. Smart, successful women stay stuck, not because they're lost, but because they've outgrown the life they have built. And I want you to know the way forward is not to burn everything down, but the way forward is to get clear, really clear on what alignment looks like now. You get unstuck by being honest, then strategic, then in motion. You've got to take action towards the thing that you feel like you've been called to do. And being here today, listening to me today, is a big part of that. So, why do smart, successful women stay stuck? They've outgrown the life they've built and they fail to pivot as they have been led. You're not lost. You have just outgrown the life that you have built. And so, this is part 1 of our 3-day journey. I am so incredibly excited to be sharing with you through this experience. It feels so amazing to be back at the mic. I want you to know that nothing I said today is about taking a leap. You have to move, but I don't want you to jump. We have accumulated way too many things, including our lifestyle, our achievements, and our accomplishments, to put it all at risk by jumping. But what I do want you to know is that you got to take some action to begin to move forward, because the disconnect that you feel, the discontent that you feel, it is not going to let up. It's going to become more and more relentless because it's a part of who you are. And I believe that you honor yourself best when you stop circling and you truly start building the thing that you have been led to build. So if you're ready to take that corporate to entrepreneur journey, or if you're ready to just even explore it, I want to invite you to have a conversation with me. You're going to find that I am here to help you, not to, overwhelm you and not to sell you. I'm here to help you really figure out what the next best step is for you. And so I want to invite you to book what I call an interest call. This is just a conversation to talk about the interests that you have in going from corporate to entrepreneur. This call is absolutely free, and you have direct access to my calendar when you go to www.callwithdenise.live. You'll be able to access my calendar there, and you'll be able to grab a time that works best for you. And I will give you a phone call, and we will just have a conversation about where you are, what you sense, and what the best next step is for you to be honorable and prioritize yourself. Going from corporate to entrepreneur is something that I believe many of us need to do in this season. I believe that we need to be far more enterprising. We need to be able to make impact and income. And now is the time for us to be focused on doing that. So, again, I want to invite you, if you're ready to stop circling and start building, to book that call with me. I'm looking all around because I have an incredible setup here, and I've got so many windows and cameras and things that are up to make this work. And so I do want you to know that this is really an opportunity for you to build what is next and make sure it aligns with who you are now. All right, so this was day one of our incredible journey. And on tomorrow, I will be going live at the same time. And we will be talking about what is the right business to start. A lot of people ask this question: what business should I start? And they kind of get stuck there. It's a question that paralyzes the pivot that we have been called to make when we step into entrepreneurship. And so I want to tackle that one head on. So, again, I want to invite you, if you want to get a reminder to join me tomorrow, so that you can be here with me live. You can register at www.jointhelivestream.live. That will give you also the bonus of the checklist that I've put together, which I think is incredible to help you continue to get clarity on making the pivot and shift. And then, absolutely, if you want to book a call, if you feel like you're ready to talk more, I would love to talk with you soon. Hey, Latanya, I see you checking in. All right. So my final word to you is this: you've outgrown the role, but not your purpose. And it truly is time for you to begin looking at what to build next. And so with that, I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and have a great day.